Okay, we're going. Woo! Hi everybody. Well, I really got pulled in by my higher self, my wisdom, whatever it is, to come and make a video. So I'm like scrambled all around to get my little spot all set up and I'm really unprepared. Not that I'm ever really prepared, but I'm like extra not prepared today. So, but yeah, just it was an undeniable, absolute urge to come sit down with you guys and do this video. And then it occurred to me, oh yeah, like there's big energy right now. There's an election happening tomorrow, and I mean, here in the US, I'm not sure where all the viewers are coming from, but I think probably the US. The US is in a frenzy right now. And so this would be a good time. I usually do these readings during some big energy because why not? But yeah, here we are. And I was like, okay, for sure. Let's do a reading. I'm even kind of out of breath because I was just like scrambling and pivoted from what I was doing today to do this instead. So, I'll take a deep breath. You take a deep breath. Let's both try to find our. I just learned what Find Your Bearings is about. I was watching a show where people were using a compass to navigate, and I just found out that Find Your Bearings is about lining up the compass with like a little point and gazing ahead and looking at that point and then aligning your compass and then going to that specific point. And so, yeah, let's get our bearings straight. Let's align our compasses to what we actually want to focus on, which when we really tune into it, all of the fuss and the chaos and all of the um just the push and the pull that's all happening right now. It kind of feels like we're in this big like energetic rubber band and slash boxing ring. It's very uncomfortable. I've been very uncomfortable. So let's get our bearings straight by doing a little reading together. All right, and we'll start by lighting our candle together. I didn't get that set up for you guys ahead of time. When the reading is more of a planned thing, I set the space and the energetic area for us before I begin. And then when I push record, we're already in that zone, that sacred space. But we're gonna do it together. So I lit a green candle in here, and we're gonna do a couple things. We're gonna burn the tiniest little bit of sage because that's all I have on hand. It's the teeniest little leaf. Don't be confused what this is. This is sage. All right, and then let's just like clear ourselves, clear our space. I can clear it over there. Doo, doo, doo. Clear the space. And then using a bit of, this is the last little bit of sweet grass that I've got on hand. Let's just call in the sweet energies because they're still here. Even when the world is abuzz, we still have access to all of the sweetness, all of that grace. Is that my doggy? I think my doggy wants to come in. I think it's funny when I do these readings, sometimes she actually paws at the door because she likes to lay down right there. Yeah, that's her. I'm gonna go open the door and let her come in and lay down. Okay, I'm back. Doggy did not want to come in, so instead she's gonna hold space for us where she wants to be. I have a little cup of chai. It is yum. So pour yourself something delicious if you want. And then let's get started. Do a little extra tuning in. Just feels very, very buzzy. All right, this is why I put these cards right up at the front. These cards are the like a heart check-in. So let's tune in. Let's take a little um pulse reading of our group. Let's see where we're at. I want to get one that feels right. There it is. There it is. Let's see what it is. Let's see what we've got. Oh, wow. Sun and moon. Sun and moon. I wonder if you're able to see that written forward, or is it backward for you guys? I might have to fix that. Anyway, sun and moon, that's interesting. Our heart. So our hearts are holding a lot of push and pull. It's that rubber band going back and forth. Sun and moon. The brightness and the dark. I'm going to keep that in mind as we move forward. Sun and moon. So that's kind of where we're at. And we'll take a little poll, maybe a little reading to see where we're at the end of the reading. Maybe we'll still be there. Maybe it'll shift. But let's go ahead and see what kind of wisdom do we need right now in the midst of this push, pull, light, dark, everything feeling so well, push like sun and moon is it's very balanced because it's the light and the dark, but that's not exactly what I'm feeling here. But maybe we can come back into that alignment because there is always going to be, maybe not always, maybe far into the future, duality will end, but at least right now, in the foreseeable future, we are experiencing a deep amount of polarity, duality, this and that, right and wrong, all the different opposites. And so here we're in the mix of it all. But with the sun and the moon, how can we bring that back into balance? Because it's like the sun holds its spot in the solar system, and the moon, she is rotating at a constant rate around the earth. And so there is an alignment and a balance and a right relationship between these two. It doesn't have to be this like bah, 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 bah. In fact, it's quite graceful. So coming back into the gracefulness of this, feeling the center, because in the center, I suppose, would be the earth, right? If we're thinking metaphorically, not necessarily astronomically, but if we're thinking of this in a poetic sense, the center would be that heart, that earth, the ground. So maybe this is just a reminder to ground, get some fresh air. If you've been stuck inside at a job all day, maybe getting outside for a little walk, getting some fresh air, maybe getting a little distance from people, uh, and the news and just all of the commotion, finding your inner quiet, inner stillness is good. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull a guide. Let's see. What guide from the angels and ancestors? I feel like this is all like very archetypal helpers. So what helper can we call on right now? Well, everything's in a big commotion. Let's see what it's at the bottom. arrow. Looks like we're back in alignment, guys. That's lovely. We did it. You guys are wise, powerful. Yeah, you guys really are. Yeah, incredible. Yeah, like I'm definitely feeling like the bottom of the deck is holding that wisdom of coming back to self, coming back to your truth. Hmm. All right, and let's call on some a helper. Ooh, wow. I went far. Oh, cool. Wow. Oh my goodness. I can't help but to see like Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary and like the rose priestesses. In fact, actually that deck was really, really calling to me and it's just right there. And since I just plunked myself down quickly, I didn't grab it, but I'll do it now because I'm feeling like this we the guardians of the rose, the guardians of the heart are coming forth. Wow. All the Isis priestesses. This is an old lineage of guarding unconditional love on the planet. And unconditional love, if you tune into unconditional love, which this she's the guardian of, heart guardian, and underneath it says love and let yourself be loved. Um, this really long lineage of insanely wise and powerful women probably run through your veins too. Like this is a lineage of spirit and of blood. And sometimes we've got both, sometimes it's just spirit. I don't know. But this council of roses, council of love, they were fierce protectors of love and allowing that love to come out and that unconditional love, which doesn't really pick sides. Like when you think of unconditional love, it's like no matter what happens, no matter what um outcome or basically anything, the love is unchangeable. It's compassionate and it's wise and it holds space for all mistakes and accidents and shortcomings and all the blessings and the wise parts and the playful parts and it holds space for every single aspect that can come forth to be loved. And that is who is coming out to be our guardian, our helper right now. That's fierce. So, yeah, call on her. Wow. Call on them because it wasn't just women. And it wasn't just also this whole like sun moon. It has nothing to do with binary. So this is all encompassing. The heart guardian loves all, no matter what shape, size, gender they are. So if you have this like rose scented anything or have access to roses themselves, um, yeah, just inhale that. Like there's something really significant about the nose and how it activates memory and it just there's nothing like smelling something delicious and it just sets your nervous system back into balance. So yeah, get into some roses and put your face in some roses and just breathe deep and know that this guardian, the heart guardian, is embracing you and holding you through this process. That feels really good. And now let's go ahead and grab. I put it in soft, velvety bag. I really love this. It's a little floppy, but I don't care. Yeah, the Rose Guardian. So let's go ahead and tap into the Rose Guardian's wisdom right now, because obviously that is who we're channeling right now. Your inner Rose Heart Guardian. I keep saying Rose, but it's, Heart Guardian. And also just the biggest heart guardian of them all that's coming to visit right now. Wow. I'm interested in the bottoms of the decks today. So the bottom of the deck, the thorn. Interesting. Protection, boundaries, clear communication. Hmm. Okay, so what would the heart guardian like to tell us right now while we're in the mix of all of this commotion? Oh, there we go. Let's let's start with one. Let's see where, because sometimes it leads to the next deck. Oh, healing is happening. Healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. It's safe to soften. Wow. Which is like intuitively, not intuitively, what's the other word for it? Instinctively, like kind of the opposite feeling of when things get kind of all when there's a lot happening and it's a frenzy. I feel like what we typically and instinctually do is we clam up, we clench, and we get like really rigid and like, you know, oh no, big things are shaking, so I better like hold on for dear life. But this is actually telling us to actually soften and, I'm getting that image of like being the reed of like allowing all of this frenzied, crazy energy out there in the world to just move on through. Because in some aspect, this energy is also part yours, but it's also part not yours. And so allowing your entire body to be that sift that, how, um, I'm seeing the image of what do you call it? A sifter for flour, where you put the flour in and it makes just that fine, fine flour and it like sprinkles all over the table. And I like that. I used to bring those out with the preschool kids because it was really good sensory. And so they would just and it would sprinkle the table with flour. And so I'm getting that image, but it's actually going upward. And so like all this energy is coming up, but we're using the layers of ourself to kind of sift through all of that madness. And so what actually comes out is like this fine, fine energy that's like purely you. And so it's distilled. There's actually like all this movement is you distilling what's yours, what's not yours, and bringing it all to wisdom, which is what healing is. Healing is bringing it to wisdom, like whatever needs to be looked at. Wow, I love that. I love that because especially, sometimes I genuinely feel like imposter syndrome or whatever, sitting up here and little by little allowing myself to soften and be more and more of a channel and allowing this to take place while you guys witness it. And so that's a really vulnerable thing. Just allowing change to happen and be witnessed in it. And so you showing up Like healing is already happening, which is interesting because I also feel like it's already done. Like future, past, all of this is kind of in this like liminal kind of space where the healing is already done, but we're in the active process of watching it. So, what is coming to wisdom for you? Like, what are you finally done with? What have you finally arrived at some kind of clarity has crystallized and it's like you finally know it on a heart level. You know it on a heart level that this healing is done. And I know that there's a lot going on out in the world, especially it being like the day before big radical shifts and upheavals of some kind, because honestly, regardless, sun moon energy, regardless of who actually is chosen tomorrow, there will be a lot of a lot of healing taking place on some level. And so for us, like as beacons of light, I kind of see us all as little lighthouses where it kind of doesn't matter what's going on in the world. If we are our little lighthouse and we're just in the spot where we are, wherever that might be, and you're watching the waves and they are rough and you can see the sailors out there and they're battling the sea. And maybe there's even a shipwreck or two, but you're watching all of this happen and you're just the lighthouse and you're just shining the light just out in all directions so that as the boats get closer, they can see what you shining your light is actually happening, is is allowing other healing to happen because then that clarity is offered to others. And not necessarily by you even doing anything and I'm feeling with like this sun moon, I strongly am feeling the and with this sun and moon. I'm really feeling the and part of it of holding the neutral where it's like you've got, especially right now, such opposing sides where it's like, this is right. No, this is right. And having those two things going head to head, like literally war energy, and us as little lighthouses shining light of clarity onto both sides of the arena, regardless of who you actually on a like a human level where your alignments are and what your preferences are because whenever there's big things happening um as a human we do have our preferences of what we would like the world to look like, and so we do get to have those human preferences, but we can also stay neutral in terms of not joining into the war energy because that war energy is really the energy that's starting to fade away. It's crumbling. Those are going to be the ruins. And what is coming forth is actually this new energy, um, new earth energy. And there's many people talking about new earth energy. That could be a video all on its own, but it's like there is a rebirth happening, but there is also a dying happening right now where it's like this old war energy is actually starting to die and it's crumbling and it's falling apart, but it will dig its claws in as long as it can to hold on because it's survival. It's that survival feeling. But now it's like things are starting to move into new energy, and that new energy is more of this, like unconditional love, not holding, not holding aside, it holding more of the and like And also holding more of this, that healing is already happening and that we don't need to force it, will it, do it. Actually, healing, you know, most of healing is done by not doing anything. So it's like you apply the ointment, you take care of the wound, and then you leave it alone. And so that is kind of the and. So it's like with the two battling sides, just leave it alone. Come back into your still place, your big dreams. Because it's like that's more what you need to I need to focus on is what am I actually dreaming about? And then invite you to do the same. So what are you actually dreaming about? Wow. Wow. Okay, here we are. Look at how cool that is. The return. The return. A new story. You decide. Alignment. It's coming together. The return. And that's what happens with healing. The healing is basically just the parts of you coming back into fullness, into wholeness, and being loved unconditionally by your body, by your mind, your soul, and they return to you in power, in wisdom, in sovereignty. And so those parts are returning. And then look at what's returning is the rose thread. This this lineage of incredible Magdalene, Isis, I'm feeling Hathor as well. Like those, that star ancestor, deep love energy that has been held for the longest time in secret. Like these were the priestesses that had to go underground when all like eons of basically having this lineage squashed out of existence or erased, and it is absolutely coming back. It's returning. It's that rose thread that's coming back online. It's the dream that they had, and honestly, you had that long ago of returning into fullness, wholeness, sovereignty, your priestessness, priest, whatever. I don't know, priest has such heavy baggage, but priestess, so it these are words that I'm still trying to find new language for, but basically looking inward to your own like inner divine authority. And so in historical, mystery school teachings, these were like, the priestesses and things. But nowadays it's like you're the modern priestess of your life, right? So, but yeah, I just feel like the wisdom that's been carried from all of those mystery schools is actually getting awakened right now. It's coming into greater and greater awareness. Like you can look around and you can you can see all of these people starting to um open up all these different secrets and things, and it's just been there all along. But greater and greater clarity about what that actually is all about, and how does it actually serve you in your real world and in your life, and moving it from like this esoteric land to practical so that you can actually use it to do something incredible with and start living your dreams. Because I think that's what was going on so long ago, is that they were dreaming of the moment where we would be able to live our dreams and that it wasn't going to be erased in some brutal way, and that now it has full full authority to come back online. And it starts with you. It starts with you actually recognizing that the healing is already there, that you're already whole, and that you already have this like long lineage of unconditional love like moving through your veins. So the rose thread, inner call, soul led, the mystic, living courageously, which is certainly needed right now because definitely being a pioneer of this new energy takes a lot of courage because, we've been so much of the healing is happening is because we've been hurt so many times over. But now that's actually coming to a close. It definitely is still out in the world. It's undeniable, but that energy is starting to come to a close. It does not mean that it is closed. It's not over, like the healing is happening, but it means that it is actually coming to a close and that being able to soften and being able to hold your vulnerability in a way that is honorable and venerated and loved unconditionally by others, seeing you is starting to happen. But maybe, right now we're in the breakdown of how it all, yeah, gets sifted out. I'm feeling that sift. And so some of those clunky bits are having a harder time actually getting through that fine, turning into that fine wisdom. Take some time for those crunchy bits to actually get purified, I guess. So, let's see if there's any last little message. I'm trying to look around at all of these cards. The last little message. As always, I know who's calling. The fairies love to play with you guys. It's just a matter of finding the deck because I didn't pull it out. So let's find. I don't know if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. All these baggies and baggies of little cards everywhere. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll tap into the fairy realm. Where did the book go? There it is. All right. Like I said, I jumped in very, very unorganized. I usually try to put things out here so that I can see them. They can call to me. I don't have them all tucked in a jumble over there. So, all right. So, Heart of Fairy. I absolutely love this deck. I apologize, not really my fault, but it is out of print, I think. At least last time I checked it was. But it's such a good deck. I love it. So, Heart of Fairy. So, what does the Heart of Fairy want to come forward and just. I thought that was it. Keep getting these little. There it is. Oh, we have two? We have two little fairies. Hmm, I like this. The Lady of Song and the Question. And just even feeling into the frequency because I know that these are two different cards, but I feel like it's actually coming. When I get two cards as one, it means it's a um mush, like a morph of these two energies. And so the Lady of Song and the Question. And so I'm actually feeling into like that energy of singing the song that just bubbles up from your heart. And what question Is there a question that's actually bubbling up from this heart song of yours? And isn't that so beautiful? There's a question in the song. Hmm. So we're gonna read just the Lady of Song. Maybe I'll take a peek at the question to see if there's anything in there for us, but I feel like that's the Lady of Song is trying to say there's a question in her song and to listen and that you know the answer. I feel like you know the answer, that this is a soul answer. So when she's singing, and this is a part of you that is singing, what is being asked and how is the heart answering? Okay. So look at the Lady of Song. Can you tell that she is listening intently to the great song that the universe sings? She is so quiet, so very still. She can hear the most distant stars singing in harmony with our own planet. To hear this song is to become profoundly connected to the universe. She is here to remind you to listen. If you draw her in a reading, just sit still and listen for a moment. What can you hear? Of course, you can hear the ordinary sounds of life that you may find comforting or annoying, but what else do you hear? Listen to the stillness beyond the noise. In that stillness, you will hear the song. Open your heart to it, and you will begin to understand that you are as much a part of the song as anything else in the universe. Raise your voice and sing with the Lady of Song and feel that connection. I feel the stillness. It feels really good. All right, I will go ahead and read the question because I feel like it is important. Okay. In Faerie, questions are very important. Questions, answers, and wishes, all of those things that help or hinder us on our journey, are very much a part of our relationship with Faerie. Who am I? What is my quest? Why have I come here? What do you seek? These are questions often asked by individuals who meet the Faerie. They don't often ask, the Faerie don't often, oops, let me see how this is read. They don't as often ask who you are, as it is more important for you to discover that on your own and to discover who they are. It is important to know why you were traveling into Faerie and to be able to express the reason. You will be asked when you cross the border into the other world, what reason do you have to be there? Are you a tourist just looking around? Or are you on a quest, on a journey of spirit? What knowledge are you asking for? Are you asking for experience of the other world? Are you looking for love? Are you searching for something that you have lost? So all of these arise when the question is brought up in a reading. So, hmm, so these two. So right now, with so much going on in the world, specifically in this country, right now as I sit, if you're tuning in today, the Lady of Song is singing, and she is singing the song of our hearts and of the universe and of the stars, and asking a question, and you know the answer. And maybe you have a question to ask her as well. Mm. And maybe just sit in that still, quiet place where you can really listen to your song. And then knowing how to proceed. Because a lot of this is like how to get clarity on What is happening out there in the world, and how, when everything starts to fall into place, where will we belong? Where will we get our footing? What will this place look like? What, there's just a bazillion questions and so many what ifs. And so feeling into, like, past all of that noise and coming back into the stillness of the truth of you know who you are and what you actually came here to do. All right. And with that, I think we're gonna close up our reading. And yeah, you guys are all such strong, amazing, beautiful little lighthouses out there, shining, shining your beautiful light for all of those ships. And maybe we're that for each other too, because I know that I'm out there simultaneously a lighthouse and also the ship about to crash onto the rocks. We're all the same. Like, we are both that and the other. And we sit in the middle, holding space for it all because we're so multidimensional and multifaceted, and there's just so much going on in our internal landscape that we really are all of it at once. And so we are just, each time we get together and do these kinds of things, and whatever other ways in which you come into alignment with your joy and your heart and your spirit and your song, however which way you do that, all it's doing is just adding more and more light and love onto the world. And that right there is just offering others a chance to see things more clearly on their own. And so, yeah, just shine, 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 shine. Shine that light as bright as you can. And when you don't feel like you're able to shine, because we're all kind of sometimes not able to shine, just remember that there's somebody else out there who is, and they're in their capable moment and they're shining. And just hold that, wrap it around you, and know that you are loved by someone, by all of us, by me. And yeah, we're doing this together. So, yeah, I'm gonna go before I start to cry. Bye.